Welcome everyone. Welcome to a special office hours. It is not the captain's table. I know. Because I'm going to be doing a 24-hour live stream of the captain's table next Saturday. Let's get to the office, shall we? Hello, my name is Paul Berserker01. Really tiny Shelly, apparently. Hold up. Let me see if I can't do something real quick. Hold on. I installed my trying to tip it down a little bit. Good. There we go. Little downward angle here. Pick it up just a little bit. There we go. Hi. I have my head tracking software here, so just kind of reinstalled it. How y'all doing? So this is going to be much shorter than the typical captain's table because I am going on a date with the wife. So we're going to go get dinner and we're going to go watch a movie, which is funny because my wife, Camilla, by the way, I don't know if I've said this or not, but she is published now, or not now, but she's in the process of getting published in the sense that she already has a publisher and a bunch of other factors. She's just going through the final steps of it. It's still going to be about 5 months or so before they get through, you know, the editing and reviewing process. So that's great. I will definitely have my wife on the captain's table at some point. Well, apparently it's not dumping its brains out, so it should be fine. It's Fridays, man. It's something about Fridays. But anyways, so I mentioned that because I don't think I've brought it up enough, and I'm really proud of her. We somehow, when we were talking about that, we came to the discussion about Five Nights at Freddy's, and she showed interest. She's like, "I want to watch Five Nights at Freddy's." And I'm like, "You didn't play the games. I'm not much of a fan of the series myself. I listen to the lore a bunch." I'm like, "You sure?" And she's like, "Yeah." Oh, all right. You know, like. Okay. I think she wants to see it because it's got Matthew Lillard in it, and she's like, I love Matthew Lillard. And I'm like, that's fair. That tracks. That is 100% like valid. No captain's tables today, no, because I'm doing the 24-hour captain's table next week. So I'm gonna basically do this stream. We're gonna do a normal stream on Sunday, a lore stream. So we're gonna go around and do some artifact hunting. And I don't think there's that many videos left, right? I mean, we got this one. I don't think there's another one. I don't think they published another one yet, have they? I doubt it. Let me see. Yeah, I think they're doing during the week because I think there were only 8 panels, remember correctly, and so they published 5. So that means there's only 3 more. We can do that on Captain's Table. So yeah, 24-hour Captain's Table next week. So it'll be next Saturday at like 6 a.m. My time, so 7 a.m. Eastern. Hey, see Daddy. But I need to get through these videos because I haven't watched all these. This is another one of those that I didn't watch at all. So we're going to be watching the Life in First Person panel from CitizenCon, going over it a little bit. And then, yeah, we'll kind of hang out and discuss a little bit and then move on. I also just finished... for once, I'm ahead on my content. I just finished an analysis of not even the entire trailer of Squadron 42 because I was like, this is going to be 30 minutes. If I do the entire trailer of Squadron 42, it'll be between 30 and 40 minutes. So I just did the scenes that deal with the Battle of Vega 2 from the trailer or from the video that we watched. So that's good. That'll be out, and that's 13, 14 minutes long. And that'll be out today, probably right as I finish the stream, because I'm going to have to like update those sort of things. I got to do a thumbnail and stuff like that. And then on Halloween, I have a very special release. That Halloween, so on Halloween afternoon, All Hallows afternoon, I will be releasing my annual Untold Tales video, and this one was a big one that I was working on for a long time, and I had the help of Uri the Smoke and the New Soul folks, and it talks about the original settlers of Stanton, and yeah, it's going to be controversial because I have a theory, and I have a theory mostly because you know, Star Citizen doesn't like shy away from controversial topics in their own narrative, if it makes sense. And yeah, I won't talk about it too much, but yeah. No, I'm not a full streamer. I still teach. I've just been doing a lot of streaming this over the evenings for me because I just wanted to hit while the iron's hot. Everyone's kind of interested in this kind of stuff and things. So good to see you too, BTV. Yeah, this is not in the traditional sense spooky. This is more of the mystery spooky. So. No. More as in the definition of ethnic cleansing pops up on the screen at some point. So, yeah.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Lucas_DSC just resubscribed for 13 months.
Thank you, Lucas DSC, for that 13 months of support. You were very important, Pupper. Very impressive, sir. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. You returned to Ignite. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Unsettling and uncomfortable. Got it. Yes. Spooky doo. Has anyone seen the UI? The UI we'll need to command our AI crew. Seems like we'll have some insane. That'll have to be insane for all those roles, orders, and roles. I don't think they've even bothered building it yet. They have a system for Squadron, but that's more wingman controls. So. Like, I think that generally speaking, the community will not be too fucked up about it. But, you know, generally, but it's also like, you know, not an easy topic to broach. But again, it's CIG. They're not going to sit there and hold hands, hold hands. They have some very, very like poignant storytelling, which are not I mean, straight up, they don't care. They're going to tell stories that they think are interesting or intriguing or make sense. Yeah, I mean, like, the Tavaran alone story is like, it's imperialism. It's like imperialism on speed run. Like, it's practically a genocide as it was, where humanity was like, oh, the Tavaran tried to kill us, tried to beat us in a war, so we beat them, then forced them off their world, then terraformed their planet so it would be harder for them to live on it, and prevented them from living in any planet that we had. Like, damn. You didn't just beat their ass. You beat their ass, you stripped them naked, and you threw them out in the cold. Like... That's fucked up there, Black. That's a little off color there. Yeah. It's an off color joke. I get it. I get the joke, but it's a little off color. All right. Scariest alien race in Star Citizen? Probably the Hadesians. Just because the Hadesians are we don't know them. Or just humans. Humanity, the scariest creature in the universe. There's actually an entire series that was written online, an online story series about humanity being the most dangerous species on the planet. White shirt through you, that's the idea. Tie and everything. It's a little oversized, so. Anyways, let's get to the video to watch this real quick. And then we'll have some discussions afterwards, so join me.
Hello, everyone! You know, am I too early? No. It's a real pleasure to be here at CitizenCon in person. I've had so much fun. Thank you all. But my name is Jens. I'm here from Manchester. I'm going to talk to you about some improvements to play traversal. So we're going to start in 0G, where we've been rebuilding the EVA experience from ground up.
I do wonder when we're going to get the EVA experience.
So the first thing you should see is that we've made the exit from gravity less disorientating. Oh, we're gonna face plant. We made it. All right, so we made the re-entry much more forgiving. So this EVA has a new prone lateral pose, and this is really important to us because it allows us to get close to surfaces, and it allows us to walk across them. So we can see that in this video here.
Magnetic hands. Okay, that looks like a straight up horror show. I'm sorry. That looks like something out of a out of like a creepypasta.
Okay, and as it gets to the end, we got. I jump off. Okay, here we go into that, and this smaller profile lets us get into spaces we couldn't get into before, or not easily with the old EVA. We're gonna traverse through here, thread the needle.
Iron Man.
And also, the collision is much more forgiving. We're gonna slide off at slower speeds, so we're not gonna be spinning away. Okay.
For a brick, he flew pretty good.
Okay, big reveal. Love this station. This is amazing. And we're also adding grips. So in interiors, you might be able to hold on to grips to do interaction.
Speed is normal.
And walk between the grips to get better control. Now,
I wonder how the AI is going to interact with the EVA. They've been testing it for about a year now. March or April is when they first started having AI disembark and then board other ships.
Thank you very much. So now prone has long been a problem motion set for us, right? But taking these EVA posing solutions we saw, we can now rotate around the camera without any lateral translation. So we're not rotating around the hips anymore. And it allows you to aim much better. We're also not moving the body, so we don't need to worry about the external collisions anymore, right? We're not going to get pushed around. Of course, prone isn't all about looking around. We want to traverse as well. So we're going to head down this vent. And here we put in a new collision style. So this is all about letting you have control in narrow, small spaces, smaller than this. We're going to be able to push around the corners. We're going to go run tight bends. And we're going to be able to reliably go up and down slopes. And this is where prone led the way. So we then took this and we put it into the EVA. So if I turn off gravity here, which I'm not going to do, but if I did, the EVA would have been able to traverse the exact same place. And by having these motion sets so similar, we can exchange success between them. And that could then be done to other horizontal sets, like prone-like.
They're not doing mag boots anymore.
Sets, for example, like the water wheel showed it yesterday. We might be able to take you swimming there one day. So. Okay, we're going to move from the horizontal to the vertical. So with ladders, we put in some new subtle and significant improvements. So we got midpoint markups that lets you enter the ladder as anywhere. We're going to let you look around so you can do...
Look at that star cloth. Look at that star cloth. I love it.
We're going to let you lean on the ladders so that you can avoid obstacles or peek around corners. And this all got a full new animation set. It looks amazing, especially with all this beautiful star cloth. You know, you got both the hood and the cape there. It looks amazing. Okay, so with combat, we wanted to add more speed to the encounters. So what we've done is we've removed the weapon penalty, so you can move at the same speed with and without the weapon out. We've reduced the inertia, so you're going to be able to push up to your desired speed faster. And this is
we'll be able to walk on ships a la The Expanse. No, you'll be able to EVA with your hands and stuff like that, which will keep you on the ship as long as the ship is moving at the same relative speed you are. But otherwise, you're going to have to use your EVA thrusters. There's no clamping boots sort of thing. So
it's already in 320 and 321, and we got more things like this to come. Right, so I didn't just want to talk about improvements. I've hinted at swimming, but I'm going to show you a different feature, right? So, sliding. So, with the power slide, you inject a burst of speed.
Love it.
This doesn't just take you from A to B faster. You're going to have a reduced profile. You become a smaller target.
And before anyone says this is ridiculous, it's like, yeah, it was in Crisis 2.
It doesn't come for free. You know, you're sprinting. That's going to
we might be able to get carps, yeah.
You're sliding, that's going to add some stamina.
Sliding is great, shut up.
And when I do it back to back like this, my heart rate is just pumping, right? So you got to be a bit careful. You can't just slide your whole way from the hubs to the spaceport. Okay, so another thing that is really important to us is that with the slide, it's a short duration, but we want interactivity as soon as possible. And that's true for all our motion sets. We're going to go through all of them and give you interactivity. So with the slide, we want you to be able to aim around as soon as possible. The moment you hit the ground, you're going to be able to aim around, all right? And the direction is locked.
That's
so if I was to slide from one end of the stage to the other, I would be sliding this way, but I'd be looking this way, right? Look at you guys, hey. But while I'm sliding, I can hip fire. And as I come out in the exit, I can ADS, I can lean. I could go back to sprint right away. So I could do back-to-back slides, like we saw in the last video. Okay, so moving beyond traversal, just to finish this section, I want to talk about new hazard. Now, you saw this yesterday in the UI demo. I lost my phone. Bone, can you press the button? That's it. Okay, radiation, right. So radiation, for that, is a new addition to this active status system. And we need to look at the bottom left here. So in the middle, you got the amount of radiation that being pushed on your body.
That is a very
You have a
radioactive
directional
pico.
source. It's based on your body surface and your distance to that source. So by going behind the cover here, I can completely cut off all the radiation. So I can use that. And then on
So it's
the, on the
alpha
left,
beta.
you have an icon that has a shield around it. Now, that shield works in two ways. Right? First of all, it comes from your outfit. So depending on what you're wearing, you're going to have a better or less accurate shield, right? It has a threshold. As long as your radiation doesn't exceed the threshold, the shield will hold true. It'll scrub all the radiation off, and you can stay there as long as you like. But as the shield starts peeling off, when the radiation gets higher, the shield will peel off. And you know the radiation sickness kicks in right at the end of the video here, and my health just deteriorates super, super quick. So yeah, that's not great. Okay, so we're gonna see some more radiation in the next section.
I don't think it's personal shields. I think the way they're describing it is shields, but it's actually more like you can think of it as like protection, like layers of clothing and stuff like that. It's like environmental protection. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just each suit has a certain amount of protection they can give you, and then they'll have it be kind of rebound in. So, kind of like how you can wear a radiation suit in real life, and it'll help reduce the amount of rads you're soaking up, but it's not perfect. Eventually, it will get in. Yeah.
So I would like to welcome Inesh up on the stage. Thank you very much, everyone.
People are saying the preview channel for Pyro is more of a promotion than actual test. Thoughts? Yeah. Eventually, they said they were going to put in the replication layer as part of it. So, but yeah, it's for people who didn't go to CitizenCon or didn't have enough time to go there. But I mean, they're also testing the areas and getting feedback on the stuff you can see and play, that kind of stuff. So that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's testing. It's testing, but it's not really testing, if you know what I mean.
Why are we showing?
It's not like a lot of this stuff. A lot of stuff is not done yet. Like it's not completed. Which, you know, duh. Like Star Citizen, like this isn't really Pyro. This is just like a nice little hey, here you go sort of thing. So.
Hello everyone, my name is Ines, and I'm a gameplay programmer here at CIG. And I'm here today to tell you all about, thank you.
No, I didn't bother getting all the masks. It's all right. They're not really testing it. It is, I mean, like, they could still take feedback and test some of those materials to see if they work or not, and those sorts of things. Those things are still valuable for CIG, even like, because I'm sure they haven't tested it in a live environment with players, so what players do and how they break things is unique compared to how CIG does it. So there's definitely some value in that. And it gives people access to Pyro. They made their, they're going to what is it called? They're going to meet their promises. You'll be able to play Pyro before the end of the year.
And I'm here today to tell you all about the features we've been working on to improve the player interaction experience with the physical objects in the world. So let me start by telling you what we've made to make it easy for you to identify and interact with these objects in the world. We have introduced in the new interaction prompt.
It's a good thing, I think. Calling it a promotion is a bit insulting. I mean, I don't think so. It's still a promotion. It's still promoting the game. It's still promoting this. Like all things in life, if you boil it down to just one thing, you're probably wrong. Most things in life are a lot more complicated than simple yes nos. There's a lot of different variables in there. So,
which are AR cards that appear over the object.
That's a plushie Zeus. If you have the digital goodies pack, it comes with a plushie Zeus.
Near them. This, combining with scanning, will help the player to easily identify the interactable objects in the scene. So we have improved the algorithm that our interaction system uses to determine the current item in focus. So you'll have a smarter detection and selection as you move around and look around the scene. So the prompts will show you the active interaction and the key bind that you can use to quickly trigger it, like you see on the pictures. So we are trying to minimize the friction of the player to interacting with these objects. You no longer have to go into interaction mode to bring up the cursor, then drag it over, and to select using the inner thoughts. So we're removing that. So what happens if an object has more than one interaction? Well, for that, you can just simply hold F, and this will bring you the new interaction wheel. So this is our new interaction wheel. It will be focusing on the item. And you can see that up to 2 of the interactions have a star icon. So this is related to another system that you are bringing to you that we call in the default item actions. So this allows us to have a primary interaction, that's the one that shows on the prompt, and a secondary interaction. So these are default actions that you can easily trigger using shortcuts. So these actions will change based on the combination of the item, the player, and the environment state. And although designers do choose the default actions that we bring to you, you are fully able to customize them to fit your preferences and playing style. So let's take a look at this in action. Here you can see the prompts that change depending on your focus. So let's bring up the wheel. And I really like my plushes, so I want to inspect them when I find them around. So I'm changing that to my primary. And you'll see that does not affect only the item they're interacting with, but any item that falls into the same category.
Primary.
OK. So I've shown you some features that improve.
It's a little weird.
So I've shown you features that improve the readability and easiness of interacting with the objects in the world. But the other part of our focus was to bridge the disconnection between the player and the object you are interacting with. In a fully physicalized world that we want to provide you, a tactile experience is very important to sell the experience. So we've introduced a new system that allows us to play animations on the player of actually reaching out and physically touch the objects in the world. Yeah. So our main goal was to give you a better immersion, but at the same time, minimizing the friction and the control we take away from you. So this really was an exercise between code, design, and animation to give you the best experience possible. Let's see some of this in action. And pressing buttons has never been so satisfying and fun.
Oh, mwah, mwah, oh.
I just kind of like go.
Press buttons. Pressing all the buttons. Where are the touching beams? No touching beams. It is only physical. Ha! Boop.
And
I like how it said applause as he died.
OK, so let's continue with this theme of tactile experiences. The next thing I want to talk to you about are usable interactables. So usables are objects that have existed in our game for a very long time. And designers have had a variety of tools to build these really interesting and complex sequences for the AI. But up until now, what we could do for the player was very limited. So this past year, we've been building up our tools that provided for designers, that designers could build these really interactive experiences, but for the player. And the advantage of using the usable system is that anything that the player will be able to do, the AI will also be able to do. So let's have a look at a simple demo that one of our designers put together to see what we can now achieve. So in this scenario, the player has to go forward and can't go forward because of the toxic water. So he has to go over to the valve to turn off the water. So before we could maybe play a simple animation when you interact it, but now designers can give full manual control to you. So you, by pressing specific inputs, you will be driving the system. So, but this is not enough. We needed to be able to give designers a way to translate what the
So you have to
player
move
is
it yourself.
currently doing and affect
Sylvan, you son of a bitch. This is for fucking VR, isn't it? All of this shit is for VR. That's what this is. God, fucking fuck.
other objects in the world in specific ways. So this is what is happening here. As the player is turning the valve, is controlling the flow of the water that's coming from the pipes. And what should happen when the player is no longer in control? Do we want to keep the state, revert back to the initial one, or maybe trigger something else altogether? Well, it's up to designers to define the type of experience they want to bring to you. So let's finally turn off that valve, rush over before that broken valve starts turning off, and then see another small example. Oh, let's go. So yeah, you'll see another small example where you won't be able to open the door by a press of a button, but you have to manually interact with that pump and manually open it. So you
I like the ping. It's basically what we had before, but
have to time your
Hey, Nightcap.
inputs to slowly open the door. So this is just a small taste of the level of interactivity that we can now have with this object.
Yes, it's so Star Trek. I love it.
We had really nice results for Squadron, for the mess hall line, and I can't wait to see what the PU designers will create and bring up to your hands. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Let's quickly talk about kiosks and terminals. And let's be honest, it's really hard to interact and get a good view of these ones. So we made a small little changes to make it easier for you. We've created a new focus mode that will walk the player to perfectly align with the kiosks. So we can better perfectly frame the screen on the viewport. At this point, the interactive screen will steal the input focus until you actively chooses to leave. So let's take a look at this in action. And look at that. When you trigger it, I'm like,
Okay, that's kind of what we already have
this
now.
is a very small quality of life improvement, but it will make it much easier for you to interact with this kiosk.
Now we don't have to like back out.
And finally, let's talk about looting. This is our new looting screen. It's not replacing the inventory, but it will be used when you're looting a body or any other lootable that you find in the world. It was specifically designed to improve this experience. So since looting is a common action during FPS combat, especially if you haven't fully prepared ahead, we wanted to make it as easier and quick as possible, so you could spend the minimum amount of time to grab any items you need from your target. So it displays the current loadout and a simplified version of the inventory. Looting favors speediness, while the inventory is there so you can fully manage your loadout. So we're still actively working on it, and this is especially...
Oh no, there were people at CitizenCon who said, I think this is gamey. A couple content creators I talked to who were like, I'm afraid it's getting too Destiny and not enough, and not too Milsim. And I'm like, I think this is fine. I think they'll do fine.
On the UI and art, but I want to give you a little sneak peek how this all works. Okay, let's go over to the So you see the player loader is on items are on the bottom, the target is on the top. You can hover, if you hover the different widgets, you'll see a tooltip that with the different quick actions you can do. You can just simple press.
It's not all of the enemy's inventory.
Easier. So yeah, you can quickly press to just equip or swap. You can even use your mouse wheel if you want to change the target. You can drop anything, store anything, just really quick actions. And you'll see in a minute that we also can trigger ammo repooling. So this will grab all available ammo, either from your target or from your inventory, and will fill up the magazines in your loadout and get rid of any empty magazines. So yeah, it's looking really good. Yeah, so it's looking really good, and I can't wait to see the
Inventory's on the right. So like there may be a way you can activate the inventory by clicking on the right and bring up the full inventory.
final art. So that's all from me. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great time.
This is great. It's a better system than what we have already, and I think it'll improve the experience overall. I mean, to be fair, Star Citizen has kind of always kind of pushed itself as Arma in space, and CIG hasn't really like denied that. But the one problem with Arma, that has always been with Arma, is that Arma is clunky as shit. Its UI sucks ass. It's super non-intuitive. It is very difficult to kind of like manage your inventory in Arma. It's a fucking chore. And a lot of people like that aspect. But, you know, if you're trying to get a game that people can play who aren't Milsim fans, they're going to have to like make some sacrifices of, I don't know, bad inventory for, you know, decent stuff. There is a...
Right, hello everyone. For those who cannot remember, my name is Jens, and I'm now going to talk to you about some changes we made to our stealth gameplay, and I'm going to give you an update on weaponware. Right, so takedowns is an important part of our stealth encounters. So this is where we're going to add some player skill progression. So it's going to move you through different action sets. You're going to start out by struggling. You might fail. Of course, this sort of added time and
I remember Battlefield counters, so you could counter the assassinations.
The extra noise you're making is really going to increase the risk of detection. You're going to get faster the more you do it, and then you're going to reach maximum efficiency. Check this one out. So he's so fast you can barely see him do it, and then he guides the body to the floor, so it makes almost no noise, right? We're going to explore some more variation beyond our unarmed and our knife takedowns, like sedative injection pens and contextual takedowns. So this guy on the railing here, let's see what we can do about him. So by using the environment, we can make we can do a more efficient takedown than maybe our skill level would have allowed. And it certainly looks a lot cooler. And we're going to be able to use this to get to enemies that might be otherwise difficult to get to with our normal takedowns, like a pilot strapped into his pilot seat, you know, sneak up on him and take him out. Okay, so in that last video, we incapacitated that enemy a lot.
Thank you for donating.
I'm going to introduce...
Thank you for donating? Hey, Paul, I'm gonna donate for no reason. Love you. Thank you.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
I don't know what you donated, but thank you.
You can even take away my space.
Oh, you gifted as a member. Nice, nice. Thank you.
You can never,
ever
take away my space game.
Thank you for the tip. Thank you so much for gifting that sub, the membership there. Jordan, you're a very important public, very impressive Mr. Any pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Get back to the... that was gifted to Asmund. Nice.
Introduce you to a new weapon. A new item, sorry, and that's the
Enjoy
restraints.
those emotes on YouTube.
The restraints. Okay, let's take him down first.
I remember seeing this one.
One more. Oh, okay. So
this stuff is the stuff they've been working on all year. Like this is stuff that's been in the monthly reports for a while now.
The restraints. We're gonna turn him over. We're gonna cuff.
I think it's mostly for Squadron.
We're gonna cuff his legs. Now, if he wakes up, he can't chase us down, right? But he could call out for help. So what we're going to do as well is we're going to add places in the environment where you can stash a body. You can hide them, either unconscious or dead. And that way you should be easier to remain undetected and keep you in that stealth bubble. Now, this is another thing we talked about in the UI demo, which is the ping. And we saw it in Inesh's presentation, how she did a short ping to highlight a door pump. Now, of course, we allow you now to charge up that ping. And by doing so, we can see further, and we can see through obstacles.
For some reason, it's not coming through. That one's not coming through. It probably will in a moment. Thank you, Jordan, for that 9 months of membership. You're a very important pupper. Very impressive, Pisser. You rock. EVA and engineering means top airlocks are now useful. Love your content. Yeah, but they're going to remove all the top airlocks because they don't want them to be used like that. So.
And we can populate more information into our data bank that then shows up in our box outs here. So you get the name, and you maybe get the race, and maybe the faction. And you can use this information to figure out where is the weak link? Which enemies can I take down without being discovered? There's a risk here, okay? So there's a charge up time, means you can't do it all the time.
I know a lot of people are mad about this. And the answer is, in my opinion, it's like, this is fine. Like, all right, let me, let's have a talk. If you are big mad about this, let's sit down, take a seat. It's 900 years in the future. You have scanning technologies in a ship that's the size of a big bus, that it can pinpoint stuff kilometers away with very good accuracy. You think we wouldn't miniaturize that technology and put it into suits? Like, we do have sunglasses. And I know a lot of people say, well, you have this, but you don't have, like, insert things we have now, like thermals and night vision. And the answer is they're working on those. But they need to get the HUDs done before they can get all this other stuff done. And this is more of a gameplay aspect, especially with squadrons, so. Big mad. Big bus. Because, like, we also see how fast this goes. It's only for a couple of seconds, then gone, so.
It's going to recharge slowly. You see the bar at the top slowly going down. Until that goes all the way down, I can't ping. I can't even do a short ping. And it's going to spike my emissions or my signature.
In Ball, do you think we can use tractor beams when the body is shackled? Probably. The people are chucking a tantrum over higher TTK. Personally, I'm very glad of it. Being killed by 1 to 3 bullets is just bad gameplay. And how long can it take before setup and negates medical gameplay? Yeah, getting medical gameplay is always going to have a purpose, and you're going to, like, at the end of the day, it's a game. It was never going to be this super accurate space game because it's using space fighters, which is not at all accurate. But the goal was to always be fun, engaging, and try to push but still be challenging, sort of thing. So I get it, but
with the right equipment or tech level, might discover me. Okay,
Future don't matter. Wallhack is a no-go in every good game. No, there's plenty of good games that have stuff like this in them.
So let's move on to some talk about weapon work.
Because that's the other thing, is that if you ping, you can also be pinged back. If you ping, you're also, it's a sonar situation, where if you ping, someone can see you ping.
So here we're going to see a simulation of a weapon getting more and more worn over time. We're going to expand this beyond weapons to other FPS items like your armor, your clothing, your helmets. In actual game, this would be triggered by weapon usage, right? So the more you fire your gun, the more...
Yeah, it's submarine. It's submarine pings.
One is going to get. And this is going to affect the
this is almost exactly like the sonar blade from Titanfall 2.
It's going to affect its reliability, and it's going to reduce its
I like the wear.
value.
Yeah.
Each item is going to wear at its own rate and persist at its own rate. So you could have a worn rifle with a pristine scope or a pristine rifle with a worn scope. Check this one out. There you go. So the geometry isn't the only thing that's going to change as your weapon wears. So here we're going to see a pristine Gemini pistol in the little window.
Okay, so yeah, the difference between precision and pristine and wear is like the more it's worn, the more it's going to break down. So you're more likely to jam and stuff like that. So
and a worn one in the big window, and you can see the visual effects. It's belching out smoke here because it's very worn, right? It's telling you, you know,
that's cool.
It's time to get this one changed. And you should be able to hear the audio as well. It's get growlier.
Yeah, you can hear the little yeah.
Okay, on to some consequences. So it's not all visual, so we're gonna start with misfire. So the first thing that's gonna happen is you press the trigger, your gun doesn't fire. The second thing that happens in this video,
yeah, the jam.
I hope you guys know what's happening. So he goes and then it goes click. That's the bullet getting lodged in the chamber, right? So we gotta fix it. So it's telling us to fix it. We're hitting the button. Our enemy.
It's in game already, Delinar. It was one of the you can buy it for subscription bonuses.
He's firing on us. So you got some options. You don't have to fix it. You could holster your gun. You could pull out a new gun. You could use that new looting in.
Let me see if I'll look it up real quick. Yeah, everyone was joking that CIG was playing too much Baldur's Gate 3 when they did that. Yes, in the sub store. Why is the hell is going on, CIG? Why is your website not letting me access? There we go. I think the LH86 is probably only full auto in Squad 42 right now, but it might be one that they add. I didn't know it was full auto. That gives it more of a meaningful thing, other than rather than being just kind of a going to Pledge Store. Subscriber, where are you? Subscriber store. This is all the stuff in the subscriber store. You can get it's $4, but you get these plush 20-sided dice. You also can get these biohazards. Yeah, the stuff you can get is pretty low in terms of the subscriber stuff. I wouldn't subscribe for the stuff, but yeah.
Interface ANS show to grab a better gun. Okay. Okay, I'm going to finish this section with the features that's tangentially related to wear, and that's the dirt accumulation. So here again, we're going to see a simulation of dirt accumulating over time on the same rifles we saw before. But in the actual game, this would be based on your activities and the environment you're in. So if you're running around in
the see-through walls will go through iterations of balance and PU anyways. First iteration is never the final one. People for some reason keep thinking it's the first iteration. It is.
In a sandstorm, you're rolling in mud, you leave your gun outside proper storage.
Yeah. You get the jump point, you get the quarterly now, or every 2 months, I think. It might be quarterly. Jump point magazine with it. You get access to all of the backlogged digital copies as well. It's the reason why I subscribe. But it's $10 a month, so it's not a good deal. It's not a good value. You get some cool things for the month, but it's like, yeah.
It's going to accumulate.
How something is in Squadron 42 will be different from how it is in the PU. PU is going to go through balancing all the time. Yeah, and it's also important to remember that that the stuff that's in the in Squadron 42 may also be balanced differently than Star Citizen because it's specifically dealing with NPCs more than players, and they'll be a little bit different. So I don't see. I know a lot of people are like, well, Star Citizen, Squadron 42 doesn't have X, Y, or Z, and it's like it will at some point. Will.
And that's going to increase the rate at which it wears. So the dirtier.
But it also doesn't have to. Like if Star Citizen has X, Y, or Z, and Squadron 42 doesn't have X, Y, or Z, it's like, okay, that's just what it is.
Gun is, the faster it will wear out. And this is true for other biome accumulations, like frost. So let's take a look at this one as well. Oh, or not. Okay, so yeah, so in the future it's going to be really important that you keep your guns clean and repaired. I'm now going to welcome Zach on stage, and he's going to talk to you more about the FPS weapons. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Zach Priest. I'm a senior FPS game designer. I'm here to share some of the new, interesting FPS things we have to bring you.
So many freaking CIG members were walking around in Squadron 42 gear at the second day. At one point, Jake was wearing something, and they just went fuck it and took the shirt off, and they were wearing a Squadron 42 shirt underneath their shirt. They literally said fuck it, and then just went. I was like, damn you, Jake.
So if you play modern shooters, you'll have noticed
before the end of the day, I should say.
the quality bar has gone through the roof in recent years. Things from visual recoil to VFX, just overall general weapon feel. As you know, we recently did a pass on our weapons to get them a bit more up to speed.
I'd love to see a Gemini hand cannon make it smaller revolver, like a 357 or something. You mean like the original Gemini weapon, which was just a slug thrower? It was like I think it was a revolver. It was just you just fired like cannon shells. The thing was fucking massive. You didn't shoot your enemy. You deleted your enemy on the other side. That was the first version of Gemini weapons, which I find fucking hilarious because it was made by a Tavaran it was made by a Tavaran with a box of scraps on the street. Which I'm not even joking. That's how Gemini got started.
But we couldn't hit that quality bar that we really wanted to, because guns are violent in nature. We couldn't portray that as much as we wanted to. So we made a new tool, and it allows us to show the violent nature of weapons while creating greater weapon-to-weapon variety. So this new tool also integrates.
Hey, I like your videos very much. Just question. I know it's a game, but is there a lore explanation why the players are being a pilot also does ground operations? Budget. So to give you context, like basically the way it works is you're a pilot on the Stanton. And when you're doing ground operations, there's a goal to achieve. And you might be the only person there. And there may be a handful of Marines nearby. But do you want the Marines to come out and help you? Or do you want them to stay on the ship? In fact, that's not your fucking call. That's the captain's call. Go do your goddamn job. That's effectively why you're doing so many ground operations. It's like everyone's on the front lines, you're not. And when you are on the front lines, you're gonna be on the front lines at some point. So yeah, it's 80s sci-fi movie logic, yeah. But it's not like egregious logic. It makes sense in the context of like where, especially with the Odin missions, you're the only system. You're the only ship in the system. And there are like 3 pilots. At most 2. And plus an MPUV. That thing doesn't have a quantum, which means that the Idris would have to fly wherever it's going, dump out the MPUV, which would then you'd have to escort to the ground to get the Marines out to get them to do their job. So it's like, You Marines are the few, the proud, and hurting in numbers thanks to the war, basically. They make it very clear in like if you saw the what is it called? The Moro tour, they make it very clear that like the Stanton is not a choice posting. It is a backwater posting. You are watching a system which is deep within UEE territory that is not the front lines of the Vandal conflict. And it is tactically UEE, but no one gives a shit about it. The only people there that you're really protecting is the mining company, which I always forget the name of because Shubin. There's the Shubin platform. You're there to protect the Shubin platform. That's about it. And everything else is just It's like being stationed in like North Dakota. Like, you're not really going to deal with things. It's like North Dakota, but if it's Mad Max, like with hell savages around. Yeah, and that's the thing about like the difference is that most of those missions we've seen where you go an FPS, it's the Odin system. So. Stanton is medium security. It's medium to high.
It's better with other systems. For example, you just saw like wear and dirt and things like that. And I'm extremely proud to show you the new weapon recoil. So this is the old P4. It kind of falls a bit flat. You're not really getting that like oomph that you want, but you've probably shot this a million times.
Sounds better though.
Now the new P4, it has these
higher
nice
rate
little
of fire.
bop downs, and you feel it getting close to the camera, and the overall aggression of the weapon is a lot more there. It feels a lot more visceral when you.
It feels like an assault rifle. this like feels like just the sound and the pitch up feels like AKs in other games.
Fire it. This new tool gives us granular control over the movements of the weapon. So essentially, what we have in one of our tools now is almost.
High rate of fire, more recoil. Yeah. I'm not sure what they changed in this rifle. There's a higher rate of fire. And instead of before, it was just like, I'm going to be very basic. It was dun 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 dun. It was more of a steady kind of thump in terms of like the rate of fire. But that now with this, it's more like da 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 da. It's a much higher rate of fire. Plus the recoil and everything else like that. It just the sound is more chunky now too.
Almost an animation tool where we can control the rotation and the location of things. So this is the old PA SMG. This is a new one.
Yeah, much higher rate of fire.
And in general, it's bringing the house down now. So recoils are just, in general, easier to tweak now.
My custodian.
And they're a lot more impactful, and we can create weapon variety in the.
That's a completely different, like sights too.
Just far new, more and interesting ways. Cool.
Darna.
Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers. We also have new procedural animation over our ADS. So previously, as if you play right now, you basically.
I don't think the brass is physicalized, but the bullets are. I'm sure the brass will roll around, but it'll eventually despawn. There's no way they're going to keep that many entities in the game.
You have a linear pose-to-pose transition, and sure, it's there, but now we layered some of this procedural stuff on top. So, for example, if you have an SMG, it can come up a lot quicker, it can flick up, you feel really cool. LMGs can be a lot more heavy. So before, it basically just do, move from pose to pose, but now we can keep it longer down here, bring it up slowly, and overall, it just feels like you've got an LMG, or it feels like you've got an SMG. We're just using things like, ease in and ease outs, and just give more life to the overall weapon.
Why does laser weapons have recoil? Because not laser, they're directed energy weapons. Or not directed energy, they're... It's like plasma, but not really. Because there's actual plasma weapons. There's an explanation for it in lore. But it's an energy weapon. Yeah, particleized energy or physicalized energy. It's not really, not really a beam.
Oh. There we go. And we also have new iron sights. So sci-fi weapons are chonky. They're full of detail. They look really cool, but a lot of that detail can potentially get in the way sometimes. So you've seen this is a change to the Kana, where we have raised the weapon sight and given what we call the target acquisition window more room to breathe. So if you're aiming at somebody, you can just generally see a lot more. So optics aren't a crutch anymore. So you can see this on the Ravager, and you can see this on the Custodian.
You can actually see what you're shooting at.
Now, weapon functionality changes. So as you imagine,
as you can see, the bullet casings are ejected, and I'm guessing that they will be physicalized to a degree, but I do not think that they're going to be physicalized so that you're just going to have piles of brass rolling around.
with the new recoil tool, we're going to do a pass on all the existing weapons. They're going to look and feel great. But while we were looking at our weapons, we also realized that some things don't necessarily, align with their manufacturer, right? You look at something like a Gemini pistol. Now, Gemini overall, it's rule of cool. Like, that's what Gemini is supposed to be. So the LH86 pistol should be fully automatic, realistically. So
that makes more sense in the sense that there is no fully automatic pistol that we have. There's just no fully automatic pistol. And, why not Gemini? That's just like their whole thing is pull trigger, gun go brrr. Like almost all of their guns are high rate of fire weapons. Their SMG is very similar to that. I think the only thing is that they're semi-automatic is their one. And then I think, don't they have the one where it switches where if you're hip firing with the LH86, I think is what it is, you go fully automatic, but when you aim down scopes, it'll go single shots or something like that.
So we have a video to show you of the pistol. And as you can see, it goes ballistic when you fire it. The magazine count has also increased to allow for that just crazy feeling that the pistol gets. Cool. Cool.
I have the CCs on just because, why not? In case someone can't hear it or,
Thank you very much. Right, and moving on to our new Vault weapons. So,
Trucker O'Donnell, thank you so much for that $10. Hey, what was the name of the ship in the competition that was Cuddy Black, or the UE contracted contract? Because I think that's what was shown at CitizenCon in the silhouettes. The Wildcat or the Bearcat? I think it's the Bearcat is what you're thinking about. The Bearcat is the Aegis Bearcat is the ship that I want. It is the ship that I've always wanted. Hey, a tip. Yeah, it's either the Wildcat
super short at $10
or the
Hey,
Bearcat.
what was the name of the ship in competition with the Cutty Black for the UE Navy contract? Cause I think that's what was shown at CitizenCon in the silhouettes.
Yeah, it might be. Man, I would fucking kill for the Bearcat. The Bearcat is fucking amazing. The Bearcat is a cross between a Cuddy and a based off of what they've the lore, because it's a little spotty. It's a cross between the Cuddy and the Hawk. So it's like an actual fighter that has that is also a bounty hunter. Whereas the Hawk is more of like a knife fighter. This would be more like the Saber, but it was also a bounty hunter sort of idea. Bearcat, the Aegis Bearcat. It's a lore ship. It only exists in lore. It's the thing that lost to the Hawk, but beat the Cutlass when they did the Volksfighter competition, and then they never adopted the Bearcat. So
it's the other video. That's the optic one. There you go. Found them. These are the Vault weapons. So Vault is primarily based around controlling a heat of a weapon. These weapons have the potential to overheat. And if they overheat, you will be unable to fire.
Beam weapons?
And they will enact differently. So some weapons will just basically be beams from the get-go. Some will go into beams. Like, see, this one goes into a beam once it reaches a certain level of heat.
That's cool as
And it's really
fuck.
fun because, you know, these are quite powerful weapons, and you basically want to manage the heat and, you know, keep it in that like ideal spot. Okay, cool. And scope
It's like an
improvements.
electric
Now, this
gun,
was shown
baby.
yesterday, but I want to do a
weaponized
little bit more with this one.
beams.
So, cool. So, to get our
Inverse cure life. Oh. Why can't I? The only thing I can think of is. Stream crashed.
And weapons are ultimately as only good as they sound.
F5,
I'll be quiet for this
F5.
next bit. But as you know, we've done a lot of work on our audio propagation systems and just in general how guns sound. We've also switched out some noises and made them feel a lot more beefy.
Oh, yes. Now that's a worthy 50 cal. Yeah. The chunk.
Fantastic.
That chunk.
All of California heard us there. So, backpack reloading. In real-life combat scenarios, you often grab magazines from other surplus areas. I want to simulate that in our game. So, to show you this, we have something called backpack reloading. If you run out of ammo in Star Citizen, you have to open a menu, put things on. It's a little bit clunky, it's a little bit awkward. So, if you have magazines in your backpack, you will now be able to grab them at the price of a longer reload animation. You will also be able to.
That's cool. That's an actual like penalty for having more ammo, but it's still allowing you to access ammo from your inventory. That's fucking cool. That's fucking amazing. Oh. I don't think any other game I've seen does that. That like, adds a little bit of realism in the sense that you got to reach back and grab or whatever you're pulling out of the pocket or something like that. So.
To tell when you have a backpack reload coming up because it will be displayed on the inventory with the backpack symbol. So there's no surprises, no catching of. You have all the information you need. And this has been shown, and it has been teased.
You need to like show this to Smush there. Nightcap. I think she would lose her mind seeing that.
A little bit, the dynamic crosshair. Now, no more third-party dynamic crosshair. Well, crosshairs now. So, if you have a look at this, this is our new crosshair. It's a crosshair that fits the aesthetic of Star Citizen. It's a crosshair that follows the using AR. Survivors won't have access to this crosshair.
I don't know if you saw this or not.
Modified combat lenses. So if you don't want to use the crosshair, you can just use a different visor. As you can see, it works with recoil, and overall, it just looks gorgeous. Cool. Cheers. And on to more data things. We're going to provide an improved PvE experience.
Gabs did too. Gabs did the same thing, and she played in Fight or Flight.
The accuracy calculator for NPCs is coming over from Squadron 42. Some people have been playing it in the venue and here, and I've been harassing them, whoever's doing the hangar mission, to get their feedback, and it has been overwhelmingly positive. We also have new NPC archetypes, what we're temporarily calling the Juggernaut, which is basically a very high damage resistant enemy that has an LMG or a shotgun. As soon as they see you, they fire. They
A bunch of people rage about these features too. I mean, a lot of them are optional. You can pull them off or that kind of thing.
Walk up to you. And overall, it's been playing amazingly, and I'm really happy for you guys. Well, I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on it at one point. PvP.
Oh, that's the other thing to understand is that like Tree can probably talk about this more than I can. Tree did a mission where they were going down to the planet to go to like an outpost and recover somebody. Someone was kidnapped, and they went, all right, cool. We went down there, and you know how like our normal missions are like, 7 or 8 people, they're kind of derpy and run around shooting at you. Try 20, and they were not brain dead. And this was in the Pyro playground. Like, they weren't excellent, mind you, but they were working. And yeah, it was just like, hey, have all of the enemies. Here's 30 people. Good luck. No, another player showed up and helped them. Another player showed up, jumped out, helped him in his combat, and then they together they defeated the the enemies.
We want to increase the time to kill. This allows for more varied weapon balancing. We can lay into like sort of different aspects of the element more. It leads to higher skill ceiling and less unfair deaths. It will no longer be a game of whoever shoots whoever first. Speaking of which, force reactions. We're reworking them. We're aware it's frustrating, and we are going to rework the system to work beautifully. And we're also working on some other highly requested PvP changes. I'm very happy to say a lot of this work has been dialed in. Squadron 42 is in a very good state, and we're bringing this to you soon.
Okay.
Share some exciting updates on combat AI.
Had a bit of a crash there for a moment. We should be back now, though.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Francesco Roccucci, as you said, and I'm the AI director in CIG. It's a great pleasure to be here with all of you guys. It's fantastic. So what we're going to do today is to explore how all the work we've done for Squadron 42 is going to flow into the Star Citizen experience. So we wanted to make the AI presentation about how you guys are going to experience the tech opportunities you have. And now it's interesting to see how the NPC are going to react to that. So the goal of Star Citizen is to build a breathing and living environment where your actions matters, and the NPC you will find in the universe needs to have the same opportunities and same limitations that you have. So when we play a game, we want you to spend the time.
No, I've been over streaming. It's like I've been streaming more than I normally do, so my IP is probably freaking out. But ISP is probably freaking out. But it's almost certainly, and I mean certainly Twitch, because Twitch has been having problems.
That feels memorable, that feels special, right? Something you can remember and talk about. So we want you to give you a challenge to overcome, but also a challenge that is fun and doesn't feel repetitive and boring. So when we look at FPS encounter, we want to build variety. We want to give the designers, like Zach, the ability to craft combat scenarios, not just to put NPC in the level. And we need to make sure that he can tweak something such that he can experience the unique play style and the play space that you have. So Star Citizen can benefit from tons of unique environments. So for those environments, we want you to have different type of fun. So what we'll look at today is some of the tools that they have to achieve this goal and bring the AI to the next level. So the first tool we're going to look at today is the NPC trait system. So we spoke about this in the past, and we have now available for designers the initial set of traits they can use to influence their behaviors. So those are some of the ones that are available to the designers.
So for those who don't know, these traits are things that they can randomly select, or they can just put on NPCs at all. They all have completely different aspects. So some of them can be tacked on top of each other. So like you could have someone who's a cautious, pusher override, blind fire medic. And all of those tags will do something different for each person. It'll vary up the behavior based off of what they do. Friendly fire, undisciplined trigger finger. Where's the friendly fire? Friendly fire means they don't care about shooting friendlies. They will shoot through friendlies. Hey, Frood. The Froodabies. I like that name. How do I get that infinite ammo tag? Have they talked about suppressing fire for FPS, and are they going to implement it? Watching this FPS content makes me think it's still missing content. I mean, they will. That's what the there's one in here that's like that, where the idea is to suppress. That's this one right here, suppressor. So their job is to sit back and keep the player's head down, shooting at the player or the enemy, and keep them suppressed. That's what it is. Three good blasters deep. I like the name, yes. Just need replication layer and server meshing testing to get underway. I don't care about Pyro Playground. I want to test the important things. All this AI stuff is worthless till the servers can run them well.
Today we're going to focus on the combat traits, because we have traits that also apply to the peaceful situation and the social environment, but those are the ones that influence NPCs during a combat scenario. And traits, you can imagine them as characteristics NPCs have or don't have. So through the usage, we can make sure the combat feels different from one encounter to another. Traits in tech-wise, are just traits and tags that we can apply to character instance, character classes, but code can also apply them automatically based on specific rules. For example,
you don't have that choice there, Joe's Got More. You have to find that out the hard way.
if you see somebody with a rocket launcher, those will apply, an example, the sentry trait automatically, because those weapons are weapons that work well at range, so you want them to not push forwards to you. So they allow to block, or actually, they allow or they block specific section of the behaviors to run, but they also influence the likelihood of some logic to happen, or they modify the outcome of specific actions. So let's imagine we want to model a pirate faction, something that you can actually experience in the Pyro playground. So we want them to feel aggressive, but also not very trained. They are not very military. So how do we do it with the traits? We can start adding to this faction either the aggressive or reckless trait. Those are traits that increase the risky behaviors. So for example, fighting more.
So what he's saying is that for this faction, they want to make them be more aggressive and less, not very like well trained. They have the aggressive and reckless tags. These traits could be applied automatically or randomly. So you could have NPCs that have both or just one for that faction. And they can just randomly spawn them as they want to, because the game can put that in there. Or designers can create them as well.
Or in open space, or expose themselves longer when they are in cover. We can then assign to some of those pirates the ignore fire obstruction trait. As you've seen, for example,
no, I mean when you're shot at or shit at, either one's fine.
In Chris Rain presentation during the CTG demo, like we have now destructible environment. So what the NPC will try to do is to keep shooting at the position the enemy has been hiding into. So you will see destroying environment, but they also have limited ammo now, so they'll just waste ammo shooting. This group would waste ammo shooting into your barriers. You will also see them being less careful and managing their ammos.
Yeah.
For others, we could use the undisciplined trigger finger trait. So this trait is, for example, meant to convey the inability to control their weapon when they are emotionally engaged in the fight. And what it will cause is them to trigger the weapon much longer also just a bit longer compared to what the behavior is asking.
So, like, you shoot one of their friends, suddenly they're going to be shooting longer or more wildly because you shot one of their friends, sort of thing.
So being bad at preserving their ammo means they will also run out of bullets much quicker. So this offers interesting opportunities for players because they can now shoot at them while they reload or while they scavenge the environment. So traits are building blocks we can use to define how character, faction, or encounter should feel. And designer can now create a wide variety of encounters for you guys to enjoy the game. So I want to paint a picture for you guys. So this is the bunker mission in Pyro, right? And we have a set of enemies that are defending the environment. So this is imagine an infiltrate and destroy mission. Those guys are there defending the bunker. You need to take it over. You need to basically kill them all. You are now fighting against enemies that they defend the environment. So before we go to the next slide, imagine the same environment, very similar enemies, but different traits, same behavior. So now you are defending an environment, and they are aggressive towards the environment. They want to take it. So what you will see here is that created a mix of enemies, some equipped with, for example, shotgun and aggressive traits. Now they will push towards you. They will force you to take actions and to react to them.
These are pushers, yeah. So, like, there are also some that will actually flank. Others which will just push straight at you, jumping from cover to cover.
Reload. Some will cover up. Obviously, this is with God mode on, so Zach was not dying. So this is possible to set up with a tick of a box. But this is not just enemies, because in Star Citizen, we want you to hire your own crew members. And those characters will have different personalities, different traits, different training level that they can build up. But when you look at their traits, we want you to see their strengths and their weaknesses so that you can pick the one that either match your playstyle or compensate your playstyle.
There are medic NPCs. It is one of the traits you can do as medic, and they'll actively try to heal their buddies. Here it is. I paused it for a moment because I was having some connection issues, dropped a bunch of stuff, so it basically dropped me out entirely, then reconnected me. Like, my internet's okay though, so it's definitely OBS or something to deal with it. I might have to reset my my computer here in a moment, but not my computer, but my stuff downstairs. Am I still live? Let me double check some stuff. Oh, restart the router. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. That may be what I have to do. Let me close the chat and try to redo. Box chat. Okay, it's back up. All right, we're good to go. Yeah, it was a full shutdown too. My guilty pleasure is watching the haters lose their minds from Star Citizen Squadron 42. The reality is this is the reason why I don't try to engage in that side of the community too often, because the reality is that most of them will just either come up with a different excuse as to why they were right technically, even though they were wrong, or they'll move the goalpost and be like, well, Pyro is it's not actually Pyro, it's just 3 planets, and they lied to us saying they were working on it. It's like, my dude, like nothing will satisfy them at this point. Yeah, no, AI can melee. Oh boy, can they melee. I don't know if they show it here, though.
So now you can imagine guard patrolling the environment. You take down a character. The guard finds this body on the ground. He doesn't know if he's alive or not. So he can go there. He can check it, check the pulse, see the state. And if he can be helped, he can basically execute the right healing process. If he needs a med pen, he will use the med pen. If he needs to shake him to wake him up, he will shake him up. And if he needs to unrestrain him, he will unrestrain him. And your crew members can also do the same with you. So if you are down in critical condition, they can come and help you out. We'll see now an example of this where 2 factions are fighting. And you will see that at the right time when the guy retreats, this guy can go there and heal his mate. And obviously, he needs to pick up a new weapon because he just dropped it. So as we mentioned before, and as you've seen,
I like the animation.
Can run out of bullets, but can also lose their weapons. So what we have to do right now is that, first of all, we want NPCs to have a concrete ammo pool to use. We don't want infinite ammos anymore. So the ammo pool is actually constructed by the ammos NPC carrying their weapons. the one that they carry, the one that might have, and all the magazines they carry. They don't have any more bullets out of that. So NPC must properly use those items to fight. And the longer the engagement, the more likely it is they will run out of bullets and they will have to scavenge the environment. How do they do that? It's through the NPC, the usable system, as you've seen with Ines as well, Ines' presentation. You see that anything the player can interact with, the NPCs actually can, the same exact way. So the dead bodies can be looted, same as dropped weapons. Ammo crates will have physically inside some weapons, magazines. They can provide you with items. And the NPC can understand where you can find ammos that are actually functioning with their own weapons. And they actually can decide. For example, if it's better to reach an ammo crate and gather some new ammos, or if that is too far or towards the enemy, they can decide to pick up another weapon. So you will see that also already in Pyro, you might see it. And once they decide to do so, obviously they don't have bullets, so they cannot fight you. What they can do, they can also switch to their sidearms. And the sidearms is less effective, obviously compared to the primary weapon, but it is still better than nothing for them to protect themselves while they go around and they loot the environment. So we'll see here an example where some NPC run out of bullets. Obviously in this video we give them a chance to go and loot as well. And this is a proper ammo crate that allows them to get back magazines. And another NPC arrives and he will loot the dead body. This is the same dead body you might be able to loot, and you will not find ammos after that. But you will
use that new looting system
once you kill it. So, last but not least, another tool in the FPS arsenal is grenades. Grenades are a great tool. NPC can now fully react and use grenades in the environment. So grenades are a great tool, especially when an NPC needs to counter a player that is camping or a player that is hiding or say in a location that the NPC cannot reach. So grenades force the movement and keep the action going, but they're also very dangerous. You've seen in Ali's presentation and Mike's presentation that a grenade can make electronics explode, ignite a fire, and then the fire can propagate in the environment. So NPCs need to properly understand the environment and not jump into the fire.
All right, I realize it's just a Star Citizen problem. So this is only in Star Citizen issue. You board a ship, you get in a firefight with the occupants, but you accidentally hit some fuel or hit a fuel line that's located on the ship. So bullet penetrates the hull, hits the fuel line, drops the fuel down. What's next, chat? Tell me you know what's next. I played FTL. I know the answer is vent all the oxygen. Now, do the same thing. Underground facility. There are explosive barrels around, but they're around like cargo. Now you're fighting in a burning warehouse. And they're learning how to use grenades. Burn before betrayal. I've seen Aliens. I know what's going to happen. Damn it, Vasquez. They're going to have incendiary rounds too, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of rounds for boarding operations once they have ammo in, like plastic rounds or something like that, which won't do as well against armor, but they'll bounce off of hulls. So
and it'll get damaged. So how do we do that? Is we have a new full system to handle hazards. Basically, Hazard on the technical side can create a navigation
Well, I mean,
volume
like, what game do you have that? I can't think of a game that has procedural fire generation based off of like accidental firefights. Like, I can't think of another game that does that. Can you, chat? I mean, the original Far Cry did something like that, where you could set fires, but like... Huh?
modifier, the navigation module modifier gets registered in navigation system, and our
Icarus.
mesh.
You never heard of Icarus? Look up Icarus. It's a survival game. Oh, it's Rocket's game. That tracks. The guy who made Daisy. Oh, it's got a 6 out of 10. Oof. Oofta. Oofta. It tracks.
Can be modified, and it will carry semantic about if that is a dangerous, something better, and how much costly it is to go through. Because maybe you have a suit that allows you to go through the fire, so that is fine. You will not, the NPC can understand that. But if they can't, they will try to find positions that are safe for them to position themselves, but also paths that will avoid those dangerous areas. And now we'll see an example of that. This is a safe.
Wouldn't this make boarding a Starfarer a lot more dangerous now? Yes. Or anything with unrefined quantanium.
Environment, still fighting, but safe. Safer. And what will happen now? Fire ignites and propagates. This is fully dynamic, so it's fully controlled by the fire system. The fire system modifies volumes in the navigation system, and we really know where we can and not pass at any given moment. So this is a subset of the things that we worked on and we wanted to show you today. Thanks very much for listening, and now back to Jens.
Nice.
Right, I want to thank Inesh, I want to thank Zach, and I want to thank Francesco for joining me on stage today. We want to extend a massive thank you to everyone who contributed to, supported us, and made it possible to show what we showed today. Now, with relentless optimism, we're looking forward to bringing you this all to the Star Citizen and more. Okay, we're going to leave you with a quick peek of a demo in Hangar 14 of Checkmate with some of these new features. Enjoy.
Awesome. So yeah, so this is the thing. In the hangar at Checkmate Station, you will get into a firefight. If you're doing the pyro playground, you will get shot at by the people in the hangar. They will just shoot at you, and you can't shoot back. The abandoned stations for sure. Oh, by the way, a nightcap. I don't know if you heard, but they're turning stations, abandoned stations, into Tarkov. They're going to be abandoned stations in both Stanton and and pyro. And there'll be places you can go in, loot, and get out, and there'll be NPCs and it'll shoot at you and PvP experiences. They have their own mini extraction shooter inside the stations. Butch. Oh, I love that beef. Oh, you have 48% health, my dude. They're pushing you right now, too. Yep, that's a shotgun. Oh. So he's panic firing. Is he, 'cause he's not settling himself? Is that a grenade? Yeah, that was a grenade. They're throwing grenades at him. Look how high the toxicity gets too. It's like 30% when you heal. That's much different than what it used to be. It's like 10. That was great.
Thank you very much. I urge you all to come and join us in the Pyro Playground pit and have a go at Hangar 13 in Checkmate. It's a really great encounter. Thank you.
That was Hangar 13, as that was. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm guessing that the med pens that they're using are squadron med pens, which are heal all pet med pens, because they probably didn't want to have players go through complex medical systems in squadron. The new UI Squadron 42, which is mostly complete. The task now is porting it over to the PU, which we have no idea the effort is needed. I can't imagine it's too difficult. The issue is more dialing it in. I think the UI would probably be fairly simple, and by fairly simple I mean probably takes them a month or two at the minimum. But the issue isn't necessarily just porting it over; it's also testing it, making sure all the UI is functioning, that kind of stuff. So, what it looks like the shipjackers are ways different from in Squadron 42. I held the line. What? The trailer. The shipjackers look. What do you mean? Why they look different? Or why the ships look different? Because they're shipjackers. They used to look different. The actual characters, yeah, they did, and then they got a new costume, new uniform. I like the game Fear, where the AI was so good, flanking, throwing grenades, flush you out. I think CIG's going for something like that. Mike Fields, hi, TheAstroPub. Thanks for being with us today. Can't always be here, but I'm glad to replay your video recordings. No problem. Normally we'd be doing some Captain's Table, but I'm doing a 24-hour Captain's Table next week, so I wanted to do just to kind of watch a stream and or watch some of the stuff and kind of go through it. So, but I like the old ones. I don't remember the old ones from Squadron. I know that there's the ones in the game right now are great. I love those. But I don't think those are being replaced. I think they're just adding different uniforms for different areas. So the Odin shipjackers will be different. I'm Googling it, but I don't see much of it. They look about the same. Like, they look the same art that they are in Star Citizen. I want high social skill NPCs that try to persuade me to relent. No, I didn't get the Zeus. I'm not a big fan of the Zeus. Especially since it's nowhere near the game yet, so there's no real point. It happened. They still can't keep the same kind of feel, though. Let me show y'all. This one? This was never going to happen. We talk about the snarling Vandul helmet that with the 0.37% loot drop. I don't remember. I don't know what it is. Remember they had the similar one with the bounty hunter armor, and then it eventually became, I think, the paladin, where it was like super. It was super like Predator style. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. The Vandul helmet with the rubber mask ones. I was talking about someone else was talking about like that one we're just watching at, so. We have it in game. We also should have the spear through his helmet. I think that we have that one, yeah. Yeah, those could be legendary. That could still come into the game, which is legendary armor. The ones that we saw were probably more like medium armor. Well, now they don't have combat. They don't have light, medium, and heavy anymore, don't they? They have combat, utility. There's a bunch of other ones they're using, but it's not just light, medium, heavy, which is good because like the utility armor are going to be things like the medic armor, the exploration armor, and the EVA armor. So you'll get armor that will be designed for you to have a longer term EVAs. One thing I don't like about CIG doing anything outlaw related is that they make them all look mostly broke or ragtag. I don't know. The Ninetales look pretty good. Ninetales they look clean. Very, very sharp. They look very gangsta, or like kind of thing. Yakuza, they got that Yakuza vibe. It's just that a lot of the armor that we saw over recently is Pyro, which is like a gang in the middle of the Australian outback. The free flight event next month will be interesting. I expect a big turnout and all the naysayers will have a field day with the low frame rates. Oh, they always do. I always tell people, try the game for free, and if you can handle how bad it is, then you'll this is the worst you'll ever experience it, just how it is. Yeah, especially in Pyro, the gangs are anti-establishment. Okay, Paul, what's your favorite gang? I know you're a good boy. Yes, I'm a very good boy. Officer, I do not partake in any sorts of illegal activities in the video game Star Citizen. I am very good at this. Me, model citizen. I like the Atoni Syndicate. And I'm looking forward to it because they're probably going to have a lot more suits. They're going to be a little bit more clean because they're a syndicate. You know, they're like a typical kind of mafia. Fire Rats are pretty cool. Headhunters are probably my favorite pyro gang. The Dusters are unique. The Nova Riders are okay. Like, there's lots of stuff like that. So Animals coming in 2024. I mean, they've got a lot of creatures they've been working on for Squadron, which I imagine are going to be moving over in the next couple of months. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some of those creatures in 2024. Yeah, that's Ticia's gang. It's the worst kept secret in the game right now because she's like, I'm just doing a job. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I work for. It's like you work for the biggest syndicate in the goddamn game. What's your safe word? Fist fighting the Boreal Stalker by fisting them and fighting them. That was the joke. I said something effective. I want to fist fight a Boreal Stalker, and Vertigo has said, "You want to fist a Boreal Stalker? What?" And I said, "Yes, I want to fist a Boreal Stalker." And so we got into a joke about running up to a Boreal Stalker and screaming, "What's your safe word?" as you proceed to fight them. The Overlords are cool too.
Ramster just resubscribed for 55 months. To be or not to be?
Thank you so much for that 55 months there, Pramster. You are very important, Pupper. Very impressive, Pisser. Very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Yeah, that is true. Citizens of Pyro are the scariest gang in Pyro because they're the homeowners association. I know all these law-abiding people will be like, oh, I'm going to go work for the Citizens of Pyro and make it a better place. It's like, okay, Karen. You got nothing better to do than spy on my grass length? Oh, no, I mean, no, the good guys are the citizens from Pyro, but the Overlords are a close second. Citizens for Pyro is the lawful gang. No Fire Rats. They only had 4 factions in Pyro at CitizenCon, which was Citizens for Pyro, Xenothreat, Headhunters, and Rough and Ready. Those are the 4. There's 6, but in the preview they only had 3. And while they did actually have Pyro 4, 5, and 6, they said they were having some collision issues, which was implied as falling through the planet. So they didn't want to put those into the game. But it could also be just server issues, right? That's about half the fucking the planets. So of the 6 planets, it's 3. And they've said they want to do server meshing when Pyro comes in. So I would be surprised that without server meshing, Pyro is impossible. United Workers in Lorville, the United Workers of Hurston, the UWH, but we don't have them in game yet. I'd love to see them though. Is the Citizens for Pyro headquarters in Hurston? That is so fucking, oh god. That is such a Hurston like shadow corporation. Do you think we're gonna get all the Pyro gangs at release? Yes. What tech does the game need for instance hangers? I think it needs, if I remember correctly, it needs the separation of the replication layer and probably server meshing. mostly the separation of the. Yeah, there's this. The UWH were the Malum Bellum Malo, yeah. Ex Malo Bonum, yeah, that's what it was. They were the groups that tasked with attacking Hearst outposts, or no? Yeah, they basically evolved into the UWH. They have their own lore now. But Malo Ex Bonum may just be a name that they use or something like that. It'll probably get put in there. Any idea when the compact mode for it coming up for vehicles like Drake Dragonfly? Compact mode, like storage mode? Not a clue. So we're gonna see the subscriber helmet for this month. Is there any lore behind it? What was the subscriber helmet? Is it on the website? Oh, it's a jump point, isn't it? Jump point. October 2023. The A1 got some fucking lore. Let's fucking go. The hot dog's in there, isn't it? Yes. Did they shoot fight or flight? I don't think they did. Oh, I do. I love the new lore. I love when ships get lore. It's fantastic. Any predictions for IAE straight to fly releases? The Santokai, or no, is it whatever is it? Not the Carto, yeah, Santokai. The Santokai, the C1, the SRV. Maybe the X1, but not the G12. What's the new lore? You know us gamers, it's the A1. I mean, I can go through very briefly and see what it is. Uh, 2906 is when it was built. Did she build it herself? Jesus Christ! This is designed. Jesus Christ! It's Jason Bourne. No, Kelly Kaplan, the CEO of Crusade Industries, designed the thing herself. She called it Project Backbone, and then gave it to a. There was something about the design she couldn't shake, but also couldn't perfect it. So one day in 2899, she called her designer, Gabija Jung, into her office and asked her to take a pass at it. Jung was an interesting choice for the assignment, Crusader Engineers secretly called her the Harbinger of Doom. She was often brought into projects not going well. Her specialty was identifying strong points of failed projects and flagging them for use in other vehicles as a way to mitigate sunk costs. Jung's unique view on problem solving stemmed from, in part, her past being a career at Trent Systems before Crusader bought it in 2885, primarily to incorporate their expert engineers into Project Quicksilver, an effort to hasten the development of the Mercury Star Runner. While most former Trent Systems designers struggled to produce work that met Crusader's style and standards, Jung quickly proved to be an insightful, out-of-the-box thinker who could always deliver the company's iconic look and design. Kaplan grew familiar with Jung's work while reviewing her assessments and was convinced that Jung would be the perfect person to tackle turning her sketch into a real ship. So the A1, the spirits are based off of the chassis of what's called the Ascension shuttlecraft, which was the first shuttles that Seraphim Systems built back in the day. This is actually really interesting lore. I'll have to do it when IAE comes out, so. Trent, reference to Freelancer? Probably. No, Kaplan is still around. She's been CEO for 90 years. Yeah. She's old. She's in her hundreds, easy. She was around for. She built the Genesis Starliner. She was part of the team that built the Genesis Starliner, and she impressed Auguste Dunlop. I always say Auguste. I'm just gonna call him Augie Dunlop, who was the founder of Crusader, who then handpicked her, or not handpicked her. I believe there was a series of CEOs who fucked up, and then she eventually got in charge of it. So. Oh yeah, she's definitely close to retiring. She's the one who bought Crusader. She's the one who bought the Crusader, the gas giant, and turned it into and created Orison, that kind of stuff. So, hey, Nubify, how you doing? Oh, we're definitely. I've got. So here's the thing. I have a lore video that I've finished before I went live. I'm going to mock up a thumbnail and put it up on the Astro Historian before I leave, because I'm after this is over with. And then I also have another video which is going to go up on Halloween, the day of Halloween, for those of you who want some spoopy stuff, which is a lot longer. It's like 30 minutes, but it's about the missing settlers of Stanton. So you got 2 videos in 1 week. It has the Dusters mentioned in it, yes. We don't know a lot about Oratani. They're pretty tight, like they're pretty closed, but we do know generally how they function. I don't think we know their origin though. I was just watching the 200-year-old Marine video. Yeah, that was cool. Question, with strip tractor beams coming, what will be the max size of our handheld tractor beams? Will we be able to move, in your opinion, of course? Whatever is small, like probably most of them. I don't think they're gonna change the handheld tractor beam stuff until they can get the tractor beam gun, like the rifle gun, the rifle beam, where it's like a 2-handed thing that you use to kind of move things around. Once they have that in, I think it'll be a little bit more. They'll kind of change the multi-tool though. Because we haven't seen or heard from that in a while, my guess is that what they're going to do is try to change up the tractor beam so it's a little bit less gun and more of a tractor beam, something like you carry around. It might be based out of Saisei, but I don't think so. I'd have to look up the details for it. The Oratani is a syndicate. It's a syndicate, and the way it functions is it sends out seeds. These seeds are effectively negotiators. They go out and they find promising recruits, and then in systems that they don't have presence in, and then they give those recruits advice and help to get them on their feet so they can open up their own Oratani branch. Then the Oratani syndicate seedling, the new branch that's being opened up, is charged with absolutely fucking over every other competition in the system and crushing them, and then growing the industry, growing the syndicate until the syndicate becomes the dominant criminal force in the system. Once they do that, they're allowed to join the syndicate proper, and any money that's made from the system, and I think also some cuts of the profits from other systems, start to come to that system as well. So you have total control and say over your system, but you're now allowed to sit at a council of other members of the who lead the Oratani syndicate. Yeah, it's a franchise criminal endeavor. So yeah, it's a reimagining of the Yakuza. And yeah, the best part is that it's pretty fucking clear that the Nine Tails and the Oratani Syndicate fucking hate each other. So we get to have some good old-fashioned gang warfare in Stanton at some point. A lot of new content creators haven't realized that CIG has in-game languages for Banu and Xi'an, and that players conversate in those languages will have advantages. Yeah. Sell weapons to both sides. Yeah. Sounds like a pyramid scheme to you. It's more like a franchise. The idea being you have the more powerful you are, the more power you have in your own system, the more say you have in the syndicate as a whole. But you work together rather than against each other, so you can get supply lines going through various different places, and it makes it easier to run the business. So, to black market McDonald's, yeah. If McDonald's issued hitmen. I met him at CitizenCon. He was there. The guy who does the con lag stuff. I'm forgetting is Britain is his name, I believe. Britain. And he has been doing he did the con lag for the Atlanteans for the Disney movie Atlantis. I think he also did the con lag for a couple of other pretty big names as well. He's a professional at doing that kind of stuff. For Avatar, I don't know if he did. He might have. He may have done Navi. I don't know if he did. Hey, Buster. Yeah, conlag is just short for constructed language. He consulted on Klingon too. Did you talk with him at CitizenCon when you were there, Buster? Because he was there with Chris Harrow. Chris Harrow is the one who's coming up with... hi, Chris. I know you show up sometimes. He's the one who's coming up with... or they're the ones who are coming up with the different alphabet and such, so... Britain has been part of Star Citizen's development since like 2016. Yeah, do you want me to blow y'all's mind? Give me 2 minutes. So, do that. This is the Rust Society Guide to Interacting with the Banu. It is 387 pages. This teaches you about Banu culture, Banu language, Banu pronunciation, everything. It is almost 400 pages long. You can see it written in English, or I should say, Latin letters, and also their native dialect. Britain wrote all of this, and the lore team. This is old too. This isn't new. Oh, by the way, they also have one for Xi'an, and it's 172 pages. They're working on one for the Tavaran. They already have one for this Vandul. They just don't show it to us because it's for Squadron 42 stuff. Yep, written in 2017. 3rd edition, 2017. Yep, you can still find it. It's still available to download. Anyone can get it. Just look up Banu Language Guide. This one's here for Sherry. Put it there. But this is where I found it here. It's in Spectrum. Or the Spectrum Dispatch, I should say. So it's called the Overview for Xi'an Language for Diplomats. And the one that's the Banu is called Smoother Sailing in the Protectorate. It's the Rust Society Guide to Language. And they're PDFs. The fact that I'm seeing a lot of people finally discover what Star Citizen is and how, like, what Star Citizen is doing. Like, wait, it's not a scam. This actually works. And it's like, yeah. Also, like, Morphologist of all people had a video where he was like, oh, well, it looks like the Squadron 42 might actually be a good story. And I'm like, Morph, buddy. We've talked about this. Like, there's a reason why I do Star Citizen lore. It's fucking extensive. And you need that base to make it feel believable. And so writers will talk about the iceberg of world building, where you want to make enough world building where it seems like there's a huge under the surface iceberg. There's stuff that's going on behind the scenes that you never interact with, or the main characters never interact with in a story. And you often that's a fake. You kind of fake it out. You kind of come up with some ideas and you put them in stories here and there. You put little hints there and there, and it kind of builds the world where you feel like there's a living world around this character or in this story. It's not just stopped for this person. CIG said, hold my fucking beer, and decided to just build that fucking asteroid, or that iceberg. It's all there. It was built from the beginning. Thank you, Vexen. We'll definitely have the Tavaran before the Banu or the Xi'an, because they're the easiest ones to do in lore and in terms of making sense. You need to win the series? I mean, I'm not going to shame on Morph that much. It was like, Morph was like, I actually believe it now. And I was like, I get it, Morph, but come on, man. My bagpipes intensifies. Yeah, I do think that the story of Star Citizen and Squadron, or story of Squadron 42 especially, is not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to be something that is entirely rewriting how video games are written. Like, none of that is true. I think it'll be a solid action film, but with some twists. They definitely have some emotional moments, some very serious situations, like, you know, PTSD references. So, you know, never trust a teacher. So Diabolus knows Chris Roberts' cameo. He still hasn't told me either. No, he might have. I think I remember it, but he actually went up to Chris Roberts and said, "Hey, I know your cameo in Squadron 42." How does Diabolus know? He has a lot of the old files from the early leaks. All are welcome back in the fold. We're not a cult. I'm not going to shit on people who are coming back to Star Citizen and being like, I was wrong. But I do find it funny because I'm waiting for Grumpy Eye to come back and start playing again, and I'm waiting for him to say I'm done with Star Citizen and leave again in like March. I don't want to like get dragged into any drama with Grumpy or anything like that. I just think it's fucking funny the amount of times he's left Star Citizen and come back and left Star Citizen. It's like, brother, at some point you just like no one's gonna believe you. This is the Boy Who Cried Wolf situation. Terrapin is great. Everyone loves the Terrapin. I understand the Terran are birdish aliens, but I've never seen them with wings. They're more like they're super skinny, and they have that kind of bird-like appearance without the feathers.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never, ever
Sips cold
take
drink.
away my space game.
Oh, that must have been a Twitch or YouTube. No, it wasn't. Is that telling me who did what? Someone became a member and I didn't see it. Oh well, thank you for whoever became a member. Thank you.
Tree_San just gifted 2 subs.
Thank you, True Sam, for gifting those 2 subs. You're a very important bubber. Very impressive person. Very impressive person. This is your fault. You're doing dream match. Shots and cheers in chat. Oh, shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Like in English. For now you will, I am Caffeine Fiend, but eventually there are going to be costs associated with repairs and refueling of those ships to the point where it won't make a lot of sense to put in that many ships, so. So no fire cans because they're winged. So they're not really. I don't think they've ever been flight. I don't know if they've ever flown. They just have a kind of a bird-like appearance. Thank you for gifting 10 subs, Grizzman. You rock. Fuck, man, that's great. That's nuts. Holy shit. Fuck. Thank you so much. Yeah, so tractor beams are committed for 3.21. So they're actually going to come out sometime around probably the next month, probably around IAE. So that's the reason why we didn't see them at CitizenCon, because they're already going to be in the game. So. I love when Asmongold said there will be a Yeti down there. I like it. And I like when people don't know what's going on, what's going to be in the game. Just Caffeine is fine. Or Caffeine Fiend if you want. Caffeine Fiend, yeah. Is my 3.15 going to have its moment in the sun? Yes. With this next patch, 3.15 or 3.21.1 or 2 or whatever the fuck it's going to be. That is going to have the tractor beams, and it will have the 3.15 tractor beam. Should be 3 weeks, so yeah. Yeah, I can imagine it's the IA patch is 3.21. The problem I have with CIG being like, it's going to be in 3.22 at the end of the year. I'm like, that's 2 months away, and you haven't even dropped the PTU yet. What the fuck? Yeah. Grisman has just dropped the members everywhere. So thank you for that. We don't know the exact date. I think it's been data mined, but I think it's, my guess is that it's going to start on either the November the 16th or November the 17th. It'll be that week before Thanksgiving, and then it goes through all of the week of Thanksgiving here in America.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
TK Rex has subscribed.
Thank you so much, TK Rex, for that subscription. You are a very important pupper, very impressive pisser. If any pedestrian, this is your fault. Your reason I'm drinking that. Shots and cheers to chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Oh,
Dem biddies.
think of them biddies. Which manufacturer do you feel will get love after RSI? Personal hope is Drake. Drake's already kind of had it. I think maybe Consolidated Outland, because we've got the Pioneer on the horizon. So almost certainly Consolidated Outland's going to have to get some love. So you saw on the net that November 18th is Drake Day at IAE. I don't know if that's true. That's the thing. Super TSA lost your Tavarin cosplay prosthetic for CitizenCon? That sucks. Paul knows, Cringy Man, but you guys, the content creators, deserve a lot. Deserve a lot to make it wait patiently in the years old drought. This is a waiting game bearing fruits, thanks to you all. I mean, that's the reason why I'm starting to do Squadron 42 lore videos over this next coming months, because I know people are going to be interested in it, and so making more videos on Squadron 42 versus Star Citizen will get more interest in that sort of thing. So by the time that Squadron 42 is released, if someone's like, I wonder what the story of Squadron 42 is, type. Boop. My videos on Squadron 42. And people think, oh, cool. And then all of the Johnny-come-latelys who cover all the lore of all the various sci-fi stuff will pop up and be like, we're going to do something on Squadron 42. And hopefully a bunch of the fans here will be like, hey, I love your stuff, but Paul Shelley does this too. Why don't you bring him on and talk to him about this? I'll be like, sure. That kind of stuff. I love those sorts of things. That's sort of, I'm like, for instance, I've said that I'm very upset. Not upset. I'm disappointed in Templin Institute's approach to Star Citizen, but I don't blame them for it. It's a personal opinion mixed with bad information gathering. That's all it is. And they've done some pretty good, interesting stuff on Star Citizen in the past. But I'm more than willing to work with them, do a collab with them, and kind of talk about it and go in more depth about some of the stuff I know versus them, which would be fine. AstroPub interviews the Astro historian when? You know, I've never seen those two guys in the same room at the same time. But I have heard that Astro historian fellow is very handsome. He's very sexy. Last year's schedule, November 18th, 2022, is Drake Day. Ah, there we go. You don't believe Squadron 42 will be out within 12 months? Nope. Nope. I don't think it's going to. I think it'll be slipped to 2025 or for Invictus or later. Ships don't excite AstroPub unless they have some sort of historical lore significance. If there's lore for the ships, I like them better. But generally speaking, my hype for ships has long passed. I'm here for the universe, so. Still waiting for Flak. I'm surprised they didn't show any of that in the demo. I can see why. So, I mean, Alanon, there is a couple of things reading between the lines that CIG, for CIG. One was Chris apparently has a date. Many people talked with him, more specifically talked to him and Chris said, there is an internal date. We have an internal date that we're trying to hit for the release. But until we're solid on that date, we don't want to say anything. And John Crew made an oopsie and said, when Squadron 42 releases, the Idris will be out. And then later on that same kind of discussion, he said, The Idris is 12 months away. So, like, there is definitely some evidence that Squadron 42 is 12 months away. But I don't think we're going to see Squadron 42 in 12 months, not because of CIG's own issues, but because when you get to that stage where you're polishing, you find issues that you weren't expecting to come up more frequently than not. And that'll often say, hey, we need another 2, 3, 4, 6 months to polish, to really go through and really improve the bugs and improve the bugs, level them up, make them worse, fix the bugs and improve the gameplay, that kind of stuff. So almost certainly I think we're going to see a Game Awards trailer in December, because not only did the Game Awards, did we see a dev mention something about a trailer they were working on, but the Game Awards also started tweeting about Squadron 42 on their official Twitter. And it's not like CIG hasn't been on the Game Awards before showing off Star Citizen, so... Even with it being feature complete and most devs returning to the PU, feature complete means that the actual features work in the game. But the bugs that come with those features, the level design decisions, the animation issues, those sorts of things are not the same as features. A feature is the new HUD, the new scanning technology, the weapons balance, the quantum travel stuff, those sorts of things. All of those. No, the 12 months isn't unreasonable. I just think that CIG is going to need more time than they realize. And because they're always bad at calculating times for these sorts of things, so. And that's really what they're doing. Like, the game, like, I'm sure players could play Squadron 42 right now. I'm sure they have enough ability, enough jank UI to get a player into the game and play it from beginning to end, cutscenes and all. But it may not be fun, or and it may be buggy. There may be some stuff. Not necessarily that Chris Roberts is bad at date planning. It's that CIG is incredibly aggressive with their internal dates, because they want to try to set them as goals and encourage their developers to hit those goals because they want to keep them motivated. Having a date keeps people wanting to do things, keeps people on track. But I think they're often overly aggressive. They've gotten better at dialing those dates in over time. So instead of it being years away when they think it's going to be a year away, it's now going to be 3 to 6 months after that date when they hit it. For instance, Chris talked about having the persistence PES in the game at the end of 2022. It didn't come out until mid-2023. But that's only 6 months later. It was actually only 3 months later. But that sort of thing happens. So most Star Citizen backers could sail through Squadron 42 as it exists right now? Yeah, to a degree, probably. But it also wouldn't be necessarily a fun experience. So a lot of gameplay, a lot of people don't realize that last bit of gameplay, it takes a lot of effort, and it's very much more artistic than technical, because you're looking at player behaviors, you're looking at level design, you're looking at psychology of how people do games. You're looking at the story. You're trying to make sure it makes the story flows the way you want it to, that the performances are proper, that the animations and the blocking animations where NPCs and players should be moving is, like where you're drawing the attention of the players, those sorts of things. So Yeah, no, for players it'd be easy. For Star Citizen players, for a Star Citizen player, it would probably be like fucking night and day. People would be like, oh my god. And it probably, this is a bold statement, but I love Starfield. I played the shit out of Starfield. I'd love to play more Starfield if I could, but I just don't have time right now. But I would probably play better than Starfield, even in Starfield's current state, which I know isn't exactly a statement, especially since you said it's buggy and weird, but because like Starfield has these weird like frame drops and like sudden drops in quality out of nowhere, so. Yeah, I could see Squadron 42 at the end of 2025. Easy. What aliens are you expecting to see in first in Squadron 42, Vanduul? Yeah, they're not going to shadow the release of the game. They're going to actually promote it. But I think what we'll see, we might see a date in December if everything works out, but I don't think so. I think we'll just see a good trailer. And then we'll see, I think around Invictus is when they'll become close to giving a date. June next year, they'll have a good idea of planning and tracking where things are. So they might give us some ideas of what they're planning on doing. So. About other aliens, I mean, we're going to see creatures. We're going to see some weird creatures. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Kazi Grazers, probably see the Whip Crabs, definitely see some of the other kind of creepy crawlies in the verse, but... Yeah, I would love to see Squadron 42 release in June of 2025. Not June of next year, but June of 2025. It'd be good for a military event, because it's a military event in game. It's also summer, which I know a lot of people are like, well, lots of games release in winter. Yeah, but you're also crowded. Your schedule is crowded with other games. Whereas in summer, there is no competition, and there's a lot of young people who want to play video games because they have days off. So I always thought it was an unreleased or an untapped market at the beginning of summer. Will we see any other aliens in Squadron 42? Based off the monthly reports, no. Because the only animation stuff they were working on was Vanduul. There was some rigging mentions of the Xi'an, so they definitely have been rigging the Xi'an. So we may see some Xi'an, and there are Xi'an assets in Squadron 42. So that could factor in, but I'm sure that's more of a bodies sort of situation rather than characters. And there are dogs in Squadron 42. We know that there have been confirmed to be a dog in Squadron 42, and yes, you can pet the dog. There's a shed load of good games released this last summer. Yeah, but it's still a very like under-tapped market. Because I would say like Baldur's Gate 3 was released early because it was supposed to release in September, and that was a good choice. Squadron 420, I love it. Squadron 42 in 2024 or bust, bro. Trust. Listen. I would love to see Squadron 42 in 2024. Like, no bet, like, not at all. Like, I'd love it. But I'm not going to set expectations when in the current gaming environment. This isn't a Star Citizen thing. This is just a gaming thing. There's been no games that are the scale and size of Squadron 42, which have not delayed. Like, multiple times in some cases. Cyberpunk, Starfield, even Baldur's Gate, like pretty much every AAA release has delayed at least once, if not twice, on its way to release. No Man's Sky also delayed at least 6 months. Hey, that Korean gamer. Squadron 42 is delayed a few times already. That is true. But they were also never at feature complete status. Oh god, Skull and Bones was delayed again? Fuck. Next month? No, we're not going to see Squadron 42 next month. That would be a stupid suicidal release move. They need to have testing. They need to have marketing. They need at least 6 months of marketing. A year would be better before they released it. Escape. Has it been confirmed that CIG want underwater gameplay? Yes, but not initially. It's going to be a bit before they have that. I think they want swimming for Squadron, so. Didn't realize you had a YouTube as well. I also have a lore tube as well. YouTube.com/TheAstroHistorian if you want to learn more about lore stuff. We're not going to see a Squadron 42 Super Bowl ad. No fucking way. That is fucking waste of money. We'll see a lot of YouTube ads. And like paid promotions from content creators.
Take away my space game.
Oison117 just resubscribed for 14 months. It's been a while, so have one of these.
Thank you so much, Osin, for that 14 months of support. You're a very important pub, a very impressive pisser, very new pedestrian. This is your fault, your reason, we're drinking. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. As far as fishing, do you think a pole will have access to grenades and bullets? Do you need a pole when you have access to grenades and bullets? Well, you need to have a pole for a fishing gameplay to make it a real MMO. No MMO exists without fishing. That's just the rule. I don't make the rules. That's just the law of the internet. Also, if there's a dog in the game, you have to be able to pet it. If you can pet it, game of the year. They talked about EVA tech could lead to some swimming mechanics. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be coming in Squadron at some point, but I think the year of marketing, the release date, is an old-time idea, particularly with documented development Squadron 42 had. People are going to have plenty of information for what it'll be. All that's missing is what we can get when we can get it. No, if you look at the market, the market saturation of Squadron 42 in terms of knowledge, it doesn't even span the entirety of Star Citizen's base. There are probably large amounts of people who play Star Citizen regularly who do not have Squadron 42 or don't even know that Squadron 42 exists. There are groups of people in the universe today, in the world today, who do not know what Squadron 42 is, who are in the Squadron 42 demographic, who like single-player games, like action games, want a story-driven experience. Those people exist, but they don't know about Squadron. Now, will they eventually? Sure, but you need to be able to get that kind of word out. People know Star Citizen better than Squadron 42, and not everyone knows Star Citizen. So, Super Bowl doesn't reach enough eyes. It's not. It's the wrong demographic. It costs too much money. It's just like, who watches TV? I know a lot of you do, but you're also over the age of 40. No offense. Because I know my demographic. Though you're also tech nerds and gamers, so you also don't watch TV. Nothing's wrong with being over 40. No, it's just you watch TV more often than younger folks do. I say younger folks, I'm 36. You're 28, you're in the wrong place. You're a young man, Veerman. You're a young man. That's the answer. Marco is a baby who just turned 23. Eli Fighter is also a baby at 21. Scary is the youngest. To be fair, there were two kids, probably the age of, 15, 16 years old max, who came up to me and asked me for autographs at CitizenCon. I felt a little weird about that. If you're watching, hello. I'm sorry I swear as much, but thank you for watching. They were with their parents, and I think their parents are backers as well. So, but my point being, it's like, generally speaking, when's the last time any of you watched TV? Regularly. Not just for one show, but just turn it on just to watch it. Does the news count? No. Well, yes, it does, because we can watch that kind of stuff. My point is you don't watch it regularly. Most of you are watching YouTube, Netflix, or any other number of streaming sites. Or you're watching Twitch. So where should CIG advertise? Twitch, streaming sites, and YouTube. Because that's where the demographic is. And they know this. They're not stupid. Which is the reason why they've been advertising for Star Citizen on YouTube for the last 3 years. But their real moneymaker, their real reach is with content creators. And that's where they're going to kind of lean into. So they'll make content on their own. They'll advertise on YouTube. They'll advertise on Twitch. They'll advertise on any kind of streaming platform like Hulu and those places as well. You might see some ads before movies because it's kind of like that as well. You know, that sort of thing. They're going, yeah, and that's the other thing that a lot of y'all are going to have to get used to. They're going to have to, you're going to have to get to understand that there are going to be big content creators who will get access to Squadron 42 up to a month before you do. They may even fly out big name content creators to Austin or LA or Manchester and have them play in specialized booths and wine them and dine them and pay them also. That's just how the industry works these days. And it may not be me or Burks or, Zero or Mike or Board or Tomato or, Texas Space Navy or Law of the West or any of the content creators you're used to watching Star Citizen. It might be, Markiplier. It'll definitely be variety streamers. They might throw in like Mike, because they've worked with Mike before. If I'm lucky, they throw in me, but yeah, I'm not that lucky. Because they'll want to have some experienced people to kind of talk with the non-experienced. Because like people like me and Mike and Zero and Burks, we speak content creator ease. So we can kind of ease them in there. Oh, I got 100% lucky with CitizenCon. Massively lucky. But I don't know if I'm gonna get that lucky again. Yeah, something like Henry Cavill streaming Squadron 42. Easy. Boom, done. Get the voice actors who played the various smaller roles, like Webb and Morrow, those kind of things. Anna, Sophie Wu, yeah. Wait, what happened to you, CitizenCon? I wasn't going to go to CitizenCon, but when I decided, you know what, I'm going to do my best. Atmo Esports reached out and they gave me free plane tickets to go there. And then CIG gave me free tickets. But because I was working with Atmo, but and then I raised a bunch of money from people as well. So it's like, and then I also ended up on stage. I ended up on the stage of that squadron of CitizenCon, So . Well, you already know the plot. Yeah, they'll definitely bring in people like Level Cap and Ollie and those kind of stuff, you know. You did, Inner Hype. It was good to meet you. You're one of my oldest mods. Listen, Hazeltine, I used to be a dogfighter. Then I stopped. Then I took an arrow to the knee. But no, I stopped practicing and stopped playing, and so I'm getting back into it. I'm slowly getting back into it. That was Big Knee. It was an anvil arrow. Yeah. What? I don't know what, Adam Warlock. I don't know. All right, y'all. It's 7:30. I got to go because I got to go. Well, I'm almost dressed. I don't know if I should, chat, should I wear this to Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm going on a date with my wife because she wanted to go see Five Nights at Freddy's. And I was like, let's go on a date. So we're going to get some food and then we're going to head out. So. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will be back on tomorrow with the League of Relic Enthusiasts. We're going to all be meeting at, not Bajini. Oh, what's the name of it? Everest Harbor, I think, around Hurston. We're going to do some lore expeditions. We're going to go raid some abandoned outposts for very old relics and artifacts. And yeah, we'll come back. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. Maybe Halloween masks. We'll probably find a bunch. The only person that matters to you is the missus. That is true. All right, let's find someone to raid. Is Verity streaming? Is she streaming? Frick is this new setup? I just want Star Citizen. Okay. Well, Novelist is streaming. We could always go to Novelist. Gabby's is streaming. Yo-Yo Meg is streaming. Let's go Yo-Yo Meg. We haven't rated Yo-Yo Meg in a while.